Oliver, hi. It's lovely to have you back at the Payments Leaders Summit. Nice to see you again.
Great to be here.
Do you just want to give us a quick introduction of yourself, your experience?
Of course. Yeah. So I'm looking after payments for Entain. I started in January this year, so still learning very much about the sector. And boy, is it complicated and challenging and fun and interesting.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I looked after payments for Marks & Spencer in the UK, and I've worked in payments for companies like Visa and MasterCard and issuing banks and consulting all my career.
Okay, brilliant. So an exciting first dive into the new industry. As you said, fun, exciting.
I'm learning loads.
Crazy.
It's great.
Good. So firstly, obviously, Entain is one of the kind of world's largest global operators. You operate with so many different brands, so many different markets globally. How do you align a kind of unified payment system across those different markets and brands?
Well, it's really challenging because every market is different. So if we're in Brazil, you need to support Pix. If you're in Spain, you need to support Bithum. Some markets like Germany have specific checks that you need to do around gambling limits. So it's very difficult to have anything other than a market-specific strategy, although there are things that unite payments however you look at them, right? So we have a very big focus on success rate, making sure that the customer, when they want to pay, can pay, and that we optimize that as much as possible. We have a large focus on improving the customer journey, making sure that the way in which we display the options to the customer and the route that they go through to the largest extent possible is a great experience for them. And clearly there are some global dimensions to how you take payments with global organizations like Visa, MasterCard and PayPal that will support all of our markets. So making sure we have great connections and great relationships with those guys. But it's very much a mixture of optimizing global versus local.
And in terms of the localized side of things, have you got kind of boots on the ground, localized expertise? How does that work?
We have local folks in all of our markets that are closer to our customers, even though we might process on our core platform here. So yeah, it's a combination of local market expertise.
Yeah.
I can't manage all of the providers across all of our markets in all of our time zones. We're in 50 countries. That's a lot of time zones. That's a lot of languages and a lot of cultures that we need to navigate. So yeah, combination of both.
Okay, that makes sense. And over the last kind of few years, there's been a huge transformation in the industry towards instant payments, digital wallets, and ever-changing customer expectations. How's Entain adapted to be able to meet those player expectations of kind of the speed?
Speed is really important, as is the slicker user experience. If I take something like Apple Pay, Google Pay, for example, that has consistently delivered us high success rates in every market where we've deployed, and that means we get more transactions right first time, happier players, better experiences. And remember, in gaming, the timing is really, really important, right? So this is one of the things that I've learned. We used to call it the jumper test at M&S, which is you might have a transaction not succeed first time, second time, maybe they've keyed the CVV incorrectly or whatever it is. Second time it goes through, you've still sold the jumper, right? And so you might have a transaction success rate of 95%, but actually a customer success rate of selling the jumper 99% of the time over, a 48-hour period. We don't care whether you bought the jumper immediately or tomorrow once you sorted your payment stuff out. In gaming, it's very, very different, right? This is what I'm learning. So the average time of a dog race is 27 seconds.
Okay.
Right? As you know, we have in-play betting with the odds changing all the way through a soccer match, including during extra time and what have you. So if you don't make that payment first time round really, really quickly, the customer may place another deposit with you, they may bet, but it's not the same bet.
Okay.
Right? So the upside for improving the success rate in our sector in terms of turning a failing transaction into a succeeding one turns into revenue more effectively. So the upside for having that is really important. So huge focus on those payment methods that deliver us a high success rate and technologies that support making sure that that customer journey is as smooth and seamless as possible.
Yeah. And can we speak a little bit about the importance of the payout when it's winnings, the impact on kind of instant gratification, and therefore if the customer, I guess, reinvest their funds with you?
Yeah. So there's a trend, right, which is as we make it easier for customers to put money in and therefore take money out, guess what? That's what they do.
Yeah.
Right. So it used to be that many gaming providers, we would hold quite a large customer balance. So you'd load up and then you'd use your balance. What's increasingly happening is customers are not doing that. They're loading in for their bet, and then they're taking their individual winnings. Now, not necessarily great for our payment costs if we've got lots of money flying in and lots of money flying out, but it's the same bet. However, it's great customer experience. So the faster we get at delivering the customer their payout, what we find is the quicker they then reinvest that, the quicker they stay with us, and it drives loyalty and it drives customer satisfaction. There's nothing quite like being paid fast, right? Paying for something quickly, yes, when you need to.
Yeah.
But the greatest thing about instant payments is getting paid. So we are particularly focused on making sure those payouts are as quick as they can be.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. That makes sense. And, from your almost 12 months in the industry, obviously coming from the retail and the provider background, if you could change one thing about payments within gambling, what would that be?
Oh, there's a lot I'd like to change.
Okay.
The thing that I've learned the most is the difference in the way a gaming payment is treated as it flows through processors, the networks, and back to the banks, and how they deal with that payment.
Yeah.
Right. For many years in the past, many payment processors or banks found our sector outside of their risk appetite. And that drove them to set a bunch of rules at the back end when they saw a transaction coming in. Things have changed dramatically. So over the past 20 years, this sector in the UK, for example, it is completely regulated. My customers are fully KYC'd. We're checking AVSs, CVV2s. We are complying with all kinds of safer gambling controls as well. Yeah. And we have dramatically changed the way we look at payments. And that is reflected now in some surprisingly low fraud rates and chargeback rates. And so people call this sector high risk from a payment point of view. In the traditional sense, it's nowhere near the high risk that it was 20 years ago. But the banking sector, the schemes and the banks who issue the cards have not kept pace in the same way. So if there's one thing that I'd change, it would be I would like the card schemes, the processors and the issuing banks to have modernized the way they treat the transactions at the same pace at which we have modernized how we have done business.
And how does that happen? Is that through collaboration, conversations, partnerships, even education, I guess, perhaps to the banks, for example, or?
It's a combination of all of those things. Dialogue is really important, right? I need to know what data to send with my transaction to ensure that the bank knows what to do with it when they get it. I think also, as you know, there is a clear differentiation now in the gaming sector between the purely regulated markets, like the white markets as we call them, which is the only markets that Entain operate in, and some of the other space and some of the other markets that are less regulated or not regulated at all. Now, the way in which card schemes categorize our sector is we have just one merchant category code, MCC 7995, but that's where everybody is lumped.
Yeah.
The regulated and the non-regulated. And so the low risk, the genuinely low risk transactions are kind of lumped in with the not so low risk transactions. And what that means is when it lands through the schemes and then when it lands back at the bank in their defense, just see everything coming in all at once in a big bucket of gaming, and they are unable to differentiate on the basis of quality and regulation. So I think we need some help from the schemes, and we need to do a better job of flagging our transactions or whatever it is to ensure that when it goes through the pipes, everyone knows that this is a fully regulated provider. Yeah,
perfect. That makes sense. Well, hopefully environments like this, like ICE, like GLS, will help some of those conversations.
Yeah, you bet. This is not an easy task to move an entire payments industry in the way in which they treated a particular transaction set. But I'm not afraid of that.
Good.
20 years ago, I was one of 5 people in the MasterCard contactless team.
Yeah.
And everyone told us we were crazy. Everyone told us it was insecure. Everyone told us it would never take off.
Okay, well.
And then not that long ago, before I left M&S, contactless was 90% of all stock transactions. So I'm not afraid of something challenging and difficult.
Good. We need that. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Oliver. And see you soon.
Thank you, Laura.